Hi friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. My name's Jennifer. Today we're going to be working on a fun and exciting project, something I've been meaning to get to for a while. We're going to be talking about compost. Getting more serious about composting has been one of my big goals for this year. So my husband Dan and I are going to be working on setting up a new composting system. It's going to hopefully be a little bit better than the kind of not very great one we have going on right now. So first of all, we're going to be working outside today in the backyard, kind of behind our chicken coop. And we usually only let our chickens free range when we're outside because we have a lot of predators in our area. And so first what we're going to do is we're going to let our chickens out so they can run around and enjoy the sunshine while we work back here. Making a lot of noise because they hear me out here and they're wondering why they haven't been let out yet. Hey girlies, come on out and enjoy the sunshine. So we have 8 chickens. We have a variety of breeds and they are so much fun. And they're actually one of the reasons that we decided to go ahead now and get started with this composting system, because now we finally have our chickens and now we're going to have a lot of good composting material. So I will take you back and we can meet my husband and we'll get started building our compost bed. Okay, so we have a lot of pallets that have been kind of laying around our woods for a few years. And basically now they're kind of in various stages of rot. So this is Dan and he's going to be kind of fixing up our pallets a little bit. Just fixing them up enough that they'll be good enough to compost with. As you can see, we have one kind of over there that's got some boards rotted out, so he's going to be replacing a few boards. And we know that this is probably not going to be a long-term solution and we're going to kind of have to replace these as we go. They're kind of compost along with the compost. Anyway, I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update about what we're doing with these pallets and why we are adding new boards to them. Okay, so we've got our pallets pretty much repaired to the point that they should be good enough for compost. We kind of took some old boards that we had lying around and screwed them into the pallets just to stabilize them a little bit. So you can see we have this area here. The idea is that we're going to be setting up a 3-bay composting system. The goal is that once we have it set up, we're going to have 1 bay that we're going to be actively adding all our compost or kitchen scraps, chicken bedding, rabbit bedding, everything else that we have kind of into that and let it, we'll be turning it frequently, but that will be what we're adding to. And then we're going to, once we fill that up, we'll move on to the 2nd bay. And then that 1st bay will be just left alone to break down. We'll be turning it, but we will not be adding anything new to it. And then eventually, once that completely breaks down, we'll have a 3rd bay of completely finished compost, and that will be what we're taking from our garden. So that is the result we're hoping for. We're kind of going to try this out and see what happens. So we have 7 pallets over here that we've basically stabilized, and you'll see how we set them up with a 3-bay system. We're not sure exactly. We're kind of figuring this out as we go, to be honest. So we have some long zip ties, or we might end up nailing them or screwing them together. We're kind of just going to see what works best, and we will let you guys know as we do it. So what we ended up doing was we decided to use zip ties. That was kind of the easiest solution rather than trying to screw these pallets together. So we normally would have longer zip ties, but we're kind of making do with what we have right now. So we took 3 zip ties and just kind of attached them like this, and then they go around, to join the pallets together, and we just use them as tight as we can. And basically we use zip ties a few other ways in the garden. We have some cattle panel trellises that we have zip tied to T-posts, and we just use them for a few vegetable supports. And so that kind of gave us the idea to use them for pallets also. So we're probably gonna go into a little bit of a time lapse here so you can just see us just assemble this, and then we will be back and show you the finished product. So we're gonna stop the time lapse just a minute because something really exciting happened. My son just found that our Easter egg, our Willow, just laid her very first egg, which is this really pretty greenish blue color. So I just wanted to show you guys since that happened while we were doing this. It's still warm. So we are finished with our compost system. We've got 3 bays like we were hoping for. I'm going to show you now the system that we were using before. And while our new compost bay isn't really all that aesthetically pleasing, you'll see that it was a big improvement from what we were using before. So you can see here we have our 3 bay system. So it's pretty much what we were expecting. I mean, our pallets are not in the greatest condition, but I think for compost it's going to do the trick. Now, if you see down here in this bin here, this was our previous compost system. We had about 5 or 6 of these bins set up. We drilled holes all over them and we would just throw our stuff in there. It's not very pretty and it's not very efficient, but it is what we were able to do. Part of me wants to say this was kind of an embarrassing thing to show you, but at the same time, I think that was, for us at the moment, it was what we could do. And it's an example of making use of what you have to work with at the moment. Well, I hope you enjoyed our video of making a 3-bin pallet composting system. I think this is going to be something that will be a big help to us and hopefully save us quite a bit of money. We right now buy a lot of compost every year from a local landscaping company. But now that we have our chickens and my daughter has a pet rabbit and we produce a lot of garden waste, plus all our kitchen scraps, we decided that it was time to get really serious about composting for real. And so rather than our passive composting system we had in the past where we would basically dump everything into a bin and just wait for it to compost, and it would take a long time. We're not being really scientific about this. We're still just kind of dumping stuff in as we have it. I did add a lot of fallen leaves from our woods, which should help a lot. But this is mostly going to be, as I said, chicken bedding, rabbit bedding, and kitchen scraps. And we're just going to try to turn it regularly to help it break down a little bit faster. And this is one way that we're hoping, you know, people get chickens, they say, for the free eggs. Anyone who has chickens knows that that's not really true. You pay a lot for those eggs. But this is one way that we're hoping to offset the cost of all of our chicken feed. Obviously, we get the fresh eggs from them, which is wonderful. And we're hoping to also turn their waste into compost for our garden. And so we're really excited about taking this step toward becoming a little more self-sustainable. I would love it if you would come back and see some of my later videos. We will be doing a lot in the garden and probably some kitchen content using garden fresh vegetables when we finally get to harvest time. You know, it is April, it's officially spring, but this is Connecticut. But we are looking forward to summer. And so if you enjoyed this video, we would love to see you again. Thank you.